There are at least 30 formations around the world known as Devil's Hole. They appear in different countries, different cultures, and completely distinct environments, but almost always provoke the same reaction: immediate strangeness. Some are too deep to be measured with precision. Others are linked to accidents, disappearances, or phenomena difficult to explain, and, in many cases, they receive this name even before any detailed scientific study. Today, the focus is not on all of them, but on the 7 most enigmatic and surreal ever recorded. Places where geology, danger, and the unknown cross in a way that does not go unnoticed. In the Nevada desert, in the United States, there is one that has intrigued scientists for decades: Devil's Hole. At first glance, it seems like just a flooded crevice in the middle of nowhere. But this hole is linked to an underground system so complex that no one has been able to determine with precision where it ends. Equipment has already been sent to measure its depth, and the mystery continues. As if that were not enough, the water level reacts to earthquakes that happen thousands of kilometers away, as if it were connected to something much larger beneath the surface. There also lives one of the rarest species on the planet, a small fish that exists only at this specific point on Earth. An isolated, deep, and biologically improbable place. And this is just the first. In Texas, another one of these places gained fame for a different reason. The Devil's Sinkhole does not hide its depth. It exposes it. It is more than 100 meters of direct fall, forming an almost perfectly vertical abyss. During the day, it looks like just an isolated rock formation, nothing unusual. But at dusk, the scenario changes completely. Millions of bats begin to exit the interior of the hole in a continuous flow, forming a spiral that rises through the sky as if it were a single organism. This movement can last for hours without interruption. For those who observe, it is not just a natural spectacle. It is something difficult to ignore. For a long time, residents of the region believed that it was a direct passage to hell, and looking from outside, it is not difficult to understand why. But not all Devil's Holes are visible like this. Some are hidden underwater. In Egypt, in Dahab, there is one of the most dangerous, the Blue Hole, an underwater hole that has already cost the lives of experienced divers, not for lack of preparation, but for a specific detail of the place. There is a submerged tunnel known as the Arch. It seems like a natural exit, but often transforms into a trap. The descent is silent, visual reference begins to disappear, and when the diver realizes the mistake, they are already too deep. How many of these places seem safe until the moment they stop being? In the Bahamas, there is a hole that seems almost artificial in how perfect it is. Dean's Blue Hole is considered the deepest in the world in its category, with more than 200 meters. Seen from above, it forms a dark blue circle surrounded by shallow and clear waters. The change is immediate. One step beyond, and the bottom simply disappears. Divers who descend there describe an unusual sensation. The light does not dim gradually. It disappears too quickly. Sound ceases to exist. And in just a few meters, there is no longer enough visual reference to understand where you are. It is not just depth, it is isolation. Now, a completely different case and much more difficult to verify. In the United States, a man named Mel Waters claimed, during a radio program, to have found a hole on his property that had no bottom. The place became known as Mel's Hole. According to him, any object thrown there would disappear without producing any sound. No impact, no echo, nothing. Even stranger reports began to emerge over time. Some claimed that dead animals, when thrown into the hole, came back to life. There is no concrete evidence, but there has also never been a definitive explanation, and that changes the type of mystery. Because here, we are not just talking about natural formations, but about something that completely escapes verification. In the middle of the ocean, near Belize, there is one of the most well-known and studied examples: the Great Blue Hole. Different from other cases, its almost perfect shape draws attention immediately. A dark circle, precise, contrasting with the lighter blue around it. For a long time, it was just another impressive visual mystery, until expeditions began to explore the interior more deeply. What they found completely changed the interpretation of the place. Inside the hole, there are giant stalactites, formations that only develop in dry caves. This means that, at some point, that space was not submerged. It was a cave on land, which ended up being flooded with the rise in sea level over thousands of years. Here, there's a clear explanation, but not all follow this pattern. In Oman, the Bima sinkhole draws attention for another reason. The water has an intense blue tone, almost artificial, and the edges are so well defined that they seem carved with precision. Local legend says the hole was created by a meteor that struck the Earth. Science points to soil erosion and collapse, two completely different explanations for the same place. And when this repeats in different parts of the world, doubt ceases to be about an isolated case and becomes about the pattern. 7 places, different countries, environments that have no direct relationship to each other. Still, they all share characteristics difficult to ignore: extreme depth, uncommon silence, and a constant sensation that there is something beyond what we can observe. In some cases, science offers solid answers, such as caves that were flooded over thousands of years or natural soil collapses, explanations that make sense, at least on the surface, but not all cases fit perfectly. Some react to distant events, others defy measurements, and there are those that exist more as account than as concrete evidence, but that continue to circulate, never disappearing completely. The name Devil's Hole does not arise by accident. It appears when a place surpasses the limit of what is comfortable to understand, when depth ceases to be merely physical and begins to be interpreted as something unknown, unpredictable, or even too dangerous to be ignored. Perhaps all these places have natural explanations, but the pattern remains there. Different cultures, different times, arriving at the same name to describe the same sensation. If you observe closely, the question is not just what these holes are. It is why all of them provoke exactly the same type of reaction. If this theme caught your attention, comment on which of these places seems stranger and why.